Peace, peace and blessings, everybody. I wanted to speak again about the various aspects of this Crawford Spence rematch. There are a lot of weird factors relating to this particular bout that I just, for the life of me, do not understand as a fight fan in general. And I wanted to share a bit of commentary about it and just see what resonates with you all. Because it's very, very, very interesting. It's an interesting spectacle. The language that has been surrounding these two particular men meeting in the ring once again. There's a very, very weird underlining factor that's going on here that I do not hear being dissected. It's not looked into. It's not observed. The subject matter isn't frequented at all. It's just kind of just left to be what it is. And it seems like it's hoping to remain that way until it kind of phases itself out, until it kind of fades to black and becomes extinct and irrelevant and disappears completely. What is going on with this fight is a perpetual question in my mind every time I hear it brought up. So the ironic thing about it is that it is still being spoken about at the moment, but it is being spoken about so that it may not be spoken about, if you get what I'm saying. So there's a language happening for it, but it seems to be in the hopes that it can kind of hurry and speed up along its non-existence in some way. Why are so many reports of this fight, having a language about it that speaks of it like the fight potential itself is over? That the possibility of it existing, of it happening, of it taking shape and forming and solidifying is no more. That's strange to me. A majority of these claims on these various platforms speak quite absolutely, quite definitively in regard to the so-called cancellation and non-materialization of the fight. Quite absolutely they speak. What is the predominant intention surrounding that type of parlance? What's the reason for that type of parlance? Why do we keep hearing, it's spoken of that frequently in the negative? Why is the dialogue surrounding this fight always in the negative? We gotta really unpack that there. Because like I said earlier, though they are speaking about it, it's as if to hasten and hurry the riddance of it in people's memory. To disassociate people who are interested in the bout from the materialization of this fight is very strange, and it's unlike anything I've seen in recent times. The interesting thing is that we've never heard EJ display any sense of dismay or pardoning or excusing of this fight in any capacity. His language has never sought to bypass or circumvent the fight in any capacity. His language has always been interested in running it back. He's always been about it, literally moments after the fight, before he even exited the ring. His intention was stated to get back, to run it back again, and to keep his skin in the game. Crawford, on the other hand, as we've seen since the since the bout. His language has been the only language among the two of them, that shows a sense of hesitance, avoidance, evasion, abstention, and prevention of the fight happening. That's been his energy towards it. It's like, why so hesitant? You knew what you were signing up for quite literally when you signed the contract, that there was a rematch clause within it. Why is your language looking to avoid and bypass what you already signed up for and agreed to terms to do? I got so many questions around that in my mind. It's looking very awkward on the Crawford side. Very awkward, very, very, very peculiar. I almost regret EJ having chosen him as a dance partner altogether. I know all the work that EJ put in to get this fight. We've seen him, take fight after fight and snatch belt after belt. And his end goal was always to get to Crawford. And he did exactly that. All the measures he put out, he followed them step by step. He told us everything that he was going to do, and that man did it. I don't hate him for, or bash him or shame him for doing that, because he gave me exactly what it was that I wanted, which was his word to be lived up to. But, the outcome of all of this is just a disaster, to say the least, because there was in no way, shape, or form any reciprocity given on the part of Crawford, and his lackluster energy, his non-excitement about it is just making a complete fuckery of the fight as a whole, to the point where I'm almost regretting that it happened and that it was so imperative to EJ to have made this fight happen. I have much regret now looking back at that he even chose him to do it. Every effort, every push made towards making this fight has backfired and recoiled and ricocheted against EJ twofold. It's like everything he put in, he didn't get back. He got the opposite of what he was trying to attract. And it's crazy. He was milked completely dry in more ways than one in the commencement of the negotiations, and just, the pettiness of Crawford, and the demands and the coin flips and the, all of these little inches that EJ gave turned into miles. And for what reason? Because what is he left with at the end? He's not even, on the other side of a man who is willing to meet him at his own word, to obey and to make the rematch happen. He's going against his own contractual terms, his own agreements made in those terms, by trying to avoid EJ in this rematch. It's crazy. It's an absolute shame, the manner in which things have been unfolding. It's absolutely disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful. And all the surrounding talk, like I said, it's just, the real question for me is, has there been a hit put out on this fight, y'all? Like intentional blockades, detours, hindrances. It's as if, the outset is to generate an emotional separation in the fans from all the dialogue that you hear now. It's to kind of create a barricade, a partition between the fight fan and the fight actually happening. They want to stop it. They want to cause a divide between the emotional connection that the fans have to this fight. They want it to stop. They want to shut it down. They want to just cut out any continued interest in this bout so that it could cease to be. That's what it seems to me. Are these outlets trying to force feed the notion into people that this fight is not worth it? That's absolutely crazy to me. How can so substantial a fight, a history between two men, be made to seem as a non-imperative when we've been waiting for this fight to happen for 5 years? 5 years? As if boxing fans the world over haven't invested in, argued for, held up the magnitude of these two men meeting in the ring. You know how many platforms, how many fans in general have been talking about the meeting of these two men? One side taking this person's side, the other side taking that person's side, and everything in between. And reasons, and get invested as to why this person is better than that, or just expressing all types of interest in who you think will win and how they'll give the other person problems, etc. Investment of fight fans has been given to this fight for a number of years for it to just, meet such a lackluster, unclimactic close. Like, what? Why do they want it to meet this type of demise? A fight that's so weighted, so heavy, has generated so much interest and attention for, to just be left unresolved, left in limbo, forever pending, forever left in a state of perpetual non-closure? Is that good for boxing? That's a real ass question. Is that good for boxing? Where fans can be left in waiting for their favorite fights to happen for a substantial amount of years, and then when it does happen, that there be no means to an end had? Is that how boxing fans are to be handled? Is that something that we as boxing fans are willing to accept? That's not something that I'm about. That's not something that I support, and that's not something I agree with by any stretch of one's imagination. It's careless how that type of dialogue is being perpetuated by the media and by Crawford and by those who support such irresponsibility. No, we've been far too invested in this particular fight for far too long to just be like, oh, okay, well, this fight ain't happening no more, y'all. Yeah, Crawford said he got too many damn excuses. He said he had one too many eye injuries, so this, or he said he, is just, tired of him, and all these other things that Crawford has been spewing about as to what may be or may not be excuses of Spence. Like, what? You don't get to call that. This is in the contract. Sit your ass the fuck down somewhere and meet the demands of the terms that you motherfucking signed your name for. This is historical material between these two men. I cannot conceive of how or why this would not be the most talked about spectacle in all of boxing. All of boxing. And what is going on with this cowardly approach that so-called fans have right now? Where they can condone and tolerate and uphold and co-sign fighters not stepping up to the plate, not showcasing their greatness. That's what they're on the bandwagon to co-sign these days. And it just has me completely perplexed. The fuck? How are we in an era of boxing where people are completely okay with fighters not fighting? What kind of backward shit is this? Okay with fighters not putting a stamp on who they claim to be. How has it become okay for a fighter to simply say that they're the cream of the crop? You don't just get to say you're the cream of the crop. You got to prove it. How many times have I said that on this platform alone? What kind of soft-ass shit is this? What is this pervading perspective and discourse happening right now, y'all? It's sickening. And I cannot be the only one sick to my stomach hearing this. Why are people so willing? Why are people so pliant when it comes to the acceptance of this perspective? It's absolutely bizarre. There are people right now in real life saying, Earl Spence, you should just let it go, Earl. Or you tried. Or, you had your chance. What in the... What in the Charmin soft plush cotton candy soft ass shit is this? Do you hear this, y'all? People in real life talking like this. Oh, you know, you had your one time. Go on and play golf now. You hear? What? Absolutely incredible. You know? And yes, it is true. You know, EJ went and, you know, had to take care of some business. He underwent his surgery. Let's say it's also been about 6-7 months now since the matchup back in July. You know, he's got training to do still for this fight. And, you know, there are myriad factors that we definitely have to consider, you know, for potential preparation for this fight. Absolutely, there are things in place that need his immediate focus and overall sense of recovery in order to be able to meet the particular challenge that he has moving forward with this fight or whatever fight. You know, it's going to need and require all of his attention and all of his training and his focus and his healing in order to, you know, take care of business. That is true. There's no doubt about that. But that is not part and parcel of the rematch being jeopardized. It's not. It's just an obstacle. You know, how many other training camps did he have to get through? How many other personal matters did he have to get through in order to, you know, be his best self and prepare for a fight? How many other things that we don't know about that this man has faced in his time as a fighter that he had to overcome in order to, you know, sharpen himself to be his best for a fight? He's been through much worse and came back from it each time. Why are we talking like this is new? Why are people talking as if it's an end to his ability? Moreover, you got to really pay attention to things like that, to the details behind the words, behind the sentiments going around. Why are people talking like it's an end to his ability as a fighter? Are people afraid of his return? What's going on? Whether it be against Crawford or whomever. Are they praying that Earl Spence doesn't come back? There's a very odd dynamic happening within all of these notions for me. And I'm not somebody who takes anything for the surface. I go underneath. I go to subterranean levels. And I analyze what is being said and what is not being said that is being said. Okay? I don't play the games. It's weird. Very, very weird. I'm starting to think that these boxing fans and these, you know, quote unquote journalists and, you know, people who surround themselves with boxing, you know, life and all of these things that they think that they do. I'm thinking that they really need to go watch a cooking show or something instead. Go do podcasts about cooking shows. Go write tweets about cooking shows, because this is not the life for you motherfuckers. This is not the place for them. Go learn how to water some roses properly, because this is not the avenue for you, this boxing shit. All this talk, all this cowardice pervading the dialogue is absolutely insane. All measures seem to hinder the progress and materialization of this fight. How and when did this become okay in the boxing community? There's too much fucking Charmin soft sucker shit happening right now, and I do not understand it. I just don't. You know, and the soft ass motherfuckers will probably say, "Oh, well, you just want to see EJ run it back." Yes, motherfucker, yes. That's the point of a goddamn rematch. You understand? What is this logic that is going around? Yes, I want to see EJ run it the fuck back, because that's what he said he would do, and that's what the two men goddamn agreed to do. Are we fucking having amnesia? Since when does a rematch mean you don't run it back? What in the hell is happening in the minds of these people? The real question is, are you that much of a sucker to be afraid of EJ running it back with Terrence Crawford? And is Crawford too much of a sucker to meet himself to take the challenge to run it back with Spence? That's the real question. No disrespect to the King Crawford, because I rocks with him too. But let's get this working. What the hell? You're not going to leave me on the sidelines and I say I'm a supporter of you. No, you're going to go out there and you're going to handle your business. You're not going to leave me on the motherfucking sidelines flatlined and the rest of your fans. And shame on whoever says that they're his fans who don't put that pressure on him to meet his own and be a man of his own word. Let's run it the fuck back. Why is there no energy around this? You're just trying to let it die a quiet death. I don't understand that. One of the biggest fights of our era? Like, what the hell? It's almost as if, let's say something like the Hagler-Hearn fight, We don't want to see something of that magnitude. Yes, the fight was one-sided back in July, because of whatever complications were happening that have been shared, and for the ones that have not been shared, that we will forever be in the dark about. We don't know what was going on. Okay? So yes, it was a one-sided bout, and it was we did expect to see more of a competitive bout between them from both sides. But that would make it even more purposeful for it to be repeated and completed finally. Let's finalize this. Things happen, life happens. I know what we expected, but that isn't necessarily always what you're going to get because it's expected. Okay, that happened. Move on. Run it the fuck back, see what happens this time. You never know. I don't give a fuck who wins. It's not about who wins and who loses right now. I'm not in that, infantile, immature mindset that would just be like, oh, well, I don't want this person to win, so I don't want the rematch to happen. Or I want this person to win, so I want the rematch to happen. I just want the fucking rematch to happen. Because these are two great warriors who I support in their greatness. What is this cowardly talk? That wouldn't be pushing for this to materialize. It's got to stop. I get very intense about these things, y'all, because, it's like, I love the fight game. My name is not Mars for nothing, I like the spirit of this. I like the generalship of it. And so I invest fully in the people that I back and that I support. And I don't like, the pervading narratives being spewed about. It's cowardly, it sucks, and it has no place here. Go plant some daffodils if this is too much to fuck for you. Anyway, y'all, we'll see what unfolds with these two men. Hopefully we get to see some action, happening at some point before the year is over. I know the year just started, so we do have plenty of time before, things take shape. It's probably things in the works that we don't know about that are happening right now that are kind of like really, really quiet and kept under the radar, which would be wonderful, to assume. But we do have a whole year to see how this plans out and plays out. So hopefully we get what we want as fight fans. But hopefully whoever considers themselves to be fight fans out there who are participating in the cowardly jargon, cease to do it. Because it's not doing anything to generate future bouts. And it goes even beyond this particular fight. What you're speaking against is potential for the future fights of magnitude and of note to not materialize in the way we'd like to see it materialize, because your whole mindset is fucked up and cowardly. Redirect the notions. Anyway, y'all, on to the next. Peace.